Welcome to Moody Talk Sports. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoyed your family and football and friends and all that good stuff. I hope you stayed blessed. But today I have the top 10 NFL teams going into week 8. So let's see what we got here. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Number 10, I have Green Bay. And look, I still don't know what to think of Green Bay, but I have to respect the record. I have to respect 4-1. I have to respect that, Jordan Love may be more of a game manager. That's fine. He's managing them to 4-1 victory, 4-1 record. Cool. I still am not really 100% confident in them. I don't know if they win a playoff game or not, but based on where they're at right now, I just need to see more, but 10 seems fine. 10 seems appropriate to put them. I don't want to kick them out, really. I don't think it's their fault of who they played, but we'll see. Number 9, we have Pittsburgh Steelers. Division games are tough. What's really surprised me about the Steelers so far this year is I can't figure out where the tough, gritty defense went, right? It feels like for the last 10 years, the Steelers have always won more, games than they've lost. They've always been above 500 because Mike Tomlin has this gritty defense that'll win these 14-11 games, and they'll be losing 11-7 in the fourth quarter, and they pick up a fumble and score, that kind of stuff. That's gone this year. And it's a shame, because this is the first year that with Rodgers at quarterback, you don't have to have that gritty of a defense. There's a little bit of play there. But if you do, that could be a contender. You put that same defense that I've seen for the last 10 years on the Steelers with, Aaron Rodgers being a game manager, 220 yards a game, just, making the plays when he needs to. This could be a deep playoff run team, but that defense is gone. They're giving up 25 to 30 points a game, it feels like. Joe Flacco, who, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to disrespect the man, but at this point, just letting him, carve you up, I don't get it. It's a divisional opponent. You play him twice a year, I'm a little concerned, but for now, they stay at 9. Number 8, I have the LA Rams. I kicked them off the list last week because of that embarrassing loss to the 49ers. I thought, you're home. Shanahan, he has a good history of it. It just felt like they didn't play well. Again, NFL teams are allowed to have a bad game. You just are. They're 17 games, excuse me. You're allowed to have a game or two where you just don't have it. That was obviously the Rams. They go over to, I believe, London. They play Jacksonville, and I don't even know if you'd call it a game. It was not competitive from the point of kickoff. So good for them. Devontae Adams has stepped up a bunch in Puka Nakua's absence. Good for him. Matthew Stafford is just old reliable in there, man. He really is. So number 8. Number 7, San Francisco, because they beat them, but also because San Francisco still continues to win despite just being mangled with injuries. They played a tough Falcons team that was coming off a really good win against Buffalo, and 20-10 really just made their offense irrelevant. The defense is really, really solid. Robert Saleh is a great defensive coordinator. This is still a scary team, especially when they get healthy. They're still number 7, number 8, number 9 the last few weeks, and that's with all these injuries. So they're going to get good. They're going to get better. That's all that's going to happen. They're just going to continue to improve. Mac Jones didn't have a good game. The last 2, they haven't been great, but he's still doing fantastic for a guy that just kind of got thrown into that situation. So I'm not exactly sure when Brock Purdy comes back, but when he does, we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure what to make of that team. There's just so much question, fog, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's crazy. Number 6, we have Seattle, who again wins on Monday night. They're a solid team. They don't play that great at home for some reason. I don't know why. That's so weird. But they play great on the road, and you have a fantastic quarterback. You have the number 1 wide receiver in football, currently anyway. I don't know. The defense is solid. The coach is still building it, still making it his way. Seattle could be a threat the next few years. They really could. I originally had questioned getting rid of Pete Carroll, but it looks like the right move. It really does. Number 5, I have the Buccaneers. They had one of the worst games I have ever seen them play. I've been a fan for about 8 years now. One of the worst I've ever seen them play. Just a terrible offensive game plan coming in. The offensive coordinator should be ashamed. Baker didn't play well. Everyone seemed to be on different pages. Mike Evans gets hurt again, broken collarbone. I hate that. I feel for him. But they're still a great team. You're allowed to have a stinker. You're allowed to have a bad game. They played a tough Detroit team on the road. I'm willing to forgive them a little bit, but I had to knock them down a few spots for sure. Number 4, we have Detroit, who just beat them. Detroit looks solid. Detroit, I don't even think played a fantastic game. I think they just played good enough to win. But they're a solid team. They did play Kansas City and lost. One thing I just can't stand about Dan Campbell is, listen, I love the going for it on fourth down. I've talked about this last week. But there's some situations where you got to take the points. When you're up 7-0 and you're on the 20-yard line and it's 4th and 5, take the 3 because now it's a 2-score game. Again, I'm not trying to be mean. I love Dan Campbell. But even my 3-year-old son was like, how come he didn't take the points? Like, that would be a 2-score game. And I'm like, great question. And I'm just thinking, if a 3-year-old can figure that out, if my 7-year-old cousin can figure that out, if my dog can figure that out, why can't Dan Campbell? I don't get it. Like, it's just, don't get me wrong. I understand there's some situations where you're like, okay, we're up by 3 or we're up by 2 or whatever. You might as well go for it. I get that. Analytics make sense. But when you have a chance to make it a 2-score game and it's 4th and 12 and you're on the 12-yard line, you don't go for it. You just take the 3. He just needs to chill with it. It's so insane to me how he'll just go for it regardless. And when he went for it on Monday, he didn't get it. And, of course, the Lions still won because Buccaneers play so bad. But what if you hadn't? What if you lost the game by 3? That's got to have happened. Lions fans, help me out. That's had to have happened a few times over the last few years, right, where you've lost a game by 3 because, he went for it 8 times on 4th down and only got 3 of them. I don't know. I'm sorry for the rant. I don't get it. It blows my mind. Number 3, we have the New England Patriots. It's hard not to be impressed with them. They're 5-2 now. They started off a little rough. They're completely undefeated on the road. And let me tell you something, that matters. I don't know why they don't play good at home, kind of like the Seattle thing. I know New England's not really it's kind of a heavily critical place, so it's not fun to play in because if you don't play well, they'll boo you. But when it comes to being a road team that can get it done, I don't care who you've played, that makes for a great playoff team. The fact that the Patriots could go in and win a playoff game, I think they could. Drake May's playing out of his mind. Mike Vrabel's got that team locked up. I hated the Patriots for so many years because of the whole dynasty thing, and they were winning all the time. And everyone did. You either loved them or hated them. I'm kind of a Patriots fan now, a little bit, just a little bit. I'm rooting for them because I love that, Vrabel came in and he played there. He knew the culture. Drake May's playing out of his mind. They're kind of an underdog. I like the fact that they're challenging Buffalo. Buffalo's ran that division for like 10 years now, it feels like. So the fact that there's some competition there, I'm all for. Number 2, we have Kansas City. Look, they're 4-3. I kept them. Here's the thing, guys. If you're a Kansas City fan, you'll love this. If you're not, let me speak to you for a second. I kept them out of this top 10 as long as I could. I really did. I kept saying they're 3-3. I can't put them in there. Oh, they're 2-3. I can't put them in there. Even though Fox and ESPN and everybody was putting them, number 2, number 1, with a losing record, which was insane to me. I kept them out as long as I could. But the reality is they look good and they're building momentum. And they just played a Raiders team that obviously is dog water. But those are the type of games where you can experiment, you can get better, you can get confidence, you feel like, okay, we figured this out. Those games can be a big morale boost. I think they're going to probably come close to winning out from here on out. So number 2 does seem appropriate at the moment. We'll see how it goes. Number 1, I have Indianapolis, and I'm sorry, but I can't ignore the 6-1 record. I can't ignore the fact that they're very close to being undefeated. They went into LA and blew the Chargers out. Justin Herbert threw for 420 yards, and yet it still was a blowout. It never felt close. Indianapolis had every screw tightened up. They look phenomenal. They look well coached. They look well run. They look like they're having fun. They look like there's a lot of camaraderie there. They are number 1, and it is well earned. And that's another team that I'm rooting for. I'm secretly like, I hope this team does really well. Danny Dimes, I'd love to see him rejuvenate his career. That's another thing we got to talk about sometime soon is, quarterbacks versus who their coach and organization is. I think we're starting to realize that it's not just quarterback. It's not just the person. You got to put them in the right situation too. And I think that's kind of common sense, right? Because we're all that way too. If you put me in an office job, I can't stand it. But you put me in front of a camera, I do pretty well. So we're all kind of that way. All right, that's the top 10 NFL teams. A lot of teams coming up in the ranks. Panthers have won 3 straight, not quite in the top 10. The Bears are 4-2. The Cowboys at 3-3-1 feel like they're better than that. Like, there's a lot of borderline teams. There's a lot of teams in that mid grade, so we'll see how it goes. But that's the 10 best NFL teams right now heading into Week 8. And right now, as far as a Super Bowl pick, I'm hoping for Indy. Hoping for Indy, or just not. I'm really not hoping for the Chiefs again. Let's be real. But I'm hoping for Indy. I would love to see New England sneak in there. I don't know if they can, but we'll see how much momentum Kansas City gets going forward. All right, guys. We also, I hope you like this. We also have college teams. We also have the Men Among the Boys, which is the top 10 NFL quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. Check out the channel. Subscribe, like. We appreciate you. I'll see you again next week. Appreciate it.